Hi, welcome to Bookwood. It's cold. Let's go inside. Come in. I'm glad you chose to spend some time with me. I start this vlog in an unusual way by setting up some pages for the romantasy-athon by Tori between pages. I didn't know about this readathon whilst I was setting up my February journal spreads, and when I learned about it, I thought this readathon would be a lot of fun, and so I decided to hop in for it. In this readathon that is only a week long, we get to read romantasy books or fantasy books with romance to fulfill prompts that will tell us which dress we are going to wear, with whom we are going to attending the ball, and a lot of other storyline ideas. I chose to make this little flap that has the prompts underneath the official invitation for the Starfall Ball. On the other side, I paste in this printable that I think is meant to put in book covers to share your TBR online. I have decided that I will use it to add in the images that Tori will be sharing on the Instagram of the readathon. These images will be for the prompts and will give the options for the dresses, the weapons, etc. I thought it might be fun to have all I gained by my reading on this page. I hesitated on how I would decorate it, but in the end I decided to go with the same style than I did for the other pages for this month. When participating in American readathons, it's not always easy to attend the live sprints on YouTube because of the difference in time, but this time I made it.
Hello, it's Monday morning and welcome to this vlog for the romantasy-athon. Before we do anything else today, we are going out for a walk. It is extremely cold, it's -5, but it's marvelously sunny. So let's go see how the fields are doing. Let's see if we can hear some birds singing, because I picked up a few songs here and there, so spring is definitely back. And maybe on the way we can talk about the books I am reading for this readathon. Cuckoo!
The first book we are going to talk about is the audiobook I started last Saturday. It is called Offrande de sang et de chair, and it is by Anna Triss. It's the first book in the Divine Darkness trilogy. In this book we meet Danae, who is the princess of the Ephemery, the humans that now live under earth after a war with the gods. The gods who now live on earth. There are two of them, two brothers, Sun and Night, and when Sun decides that it is time to get married, his eyes fall on Danae, who will accept this marriage to save the humankind and to save her country. Night isn't very happy with his brother's decision, and so he kidnaps Danae, and she will need all her courage, all her strength, but also all the weapons within her reach to get out of his grip. I listened to this book since Anna Triss is one of my favorite authors, but also because my husband highly recommended it to me. A lot of YouTubers and book critics don't like this book, saying that it is too much of erotica and too less of a story. But I am now 4 hours in and I find it very funny and not erotic at all. So we'll see how the next 8 hours will be going. The physical book I'm reading is Sword of Fire by Katharine Kerr. This is the 16th book in the Deverry series. It starts a new trilogy that is happening around 300 to 400 years after the main series, and we meet a bunch of new characters. Time flew by this week and we are already Saturday. Here you see me watching the end sprints of the romatasy-athon, and I am using them to collect all the images to complete my journal spread. This is the last sprint in the YouTube Live sprints that close up the romantasy-athon by Story Between Pages, the readathon I've been reading for this week. And I thought it would be a good moment to catch up with you about the books that I've read for this readathon. I ended up reading only 2 books, but that also was what I planned to read. So I think I can be happy with that. Like I mentioned before, I listened to the audiobook of Divine Darkness by Anna Triss, and when we last spoke, and that was a while ago, I told you that I was about 4 hours in and that I really liked it. Well, after finishing it, I can tell you that I had a really good time with this book, and I'm looking forward to listen to the second book. I'm not sure when that will be, but I hope next month or at least April. And there is not that much more that I can tell you about this story. So a quick recap: we are following Danae, which is an ephemeral or human, and after a war between great race, gods, basically humans were forced to go live on the ground, and on the planet, on the continent, live the gods. And one is sun, who is the god of light, the god of day, and the other is night, who is the god of darkness and of the night. And these 2 gods have a little quarrel because they both want somehow to have an alliance or a marriage with Danae. And it turns out that she has some special power. She first meets Sun, who convinces her into marriage, but on her way to his realm, she is kidnapped by Night. So even if he doesn't see it as that, he has her as a guest in his realm, and for the rest of the book we will be discovering Night, his realm, the people who live there, and we will slowly discover that Danae has something special. At the end of this book, we still don't really know the extent of what she can do. We still don't really know whose side she is clinging to, and I am very intrigued and very curious about where this will go. The second book that I started for this readathon was this Sword of Fire by Katharine Kerr, and I told you it's the 16th book in the Deverry series and that I could not tell you much about it. So I finished it this morning, and I think I can talk to you about this book a little bit without really
spoiling the entire series. So this is a new arc in the Deverry series, and we are 300 years-ish after the events of book 15, and we will meet completely new characters. In most of the Deverry books we go with flashbacks and we talk about reincarnation, and we have the same characters that we follow through time and through their reincarnations. And this book doesn't have these flashbacks, but also doesn't have a reincarnation list. So I want to go with the idea that all the characters we meet are new characters and not reincarnations. Even if them being reincarnations would make sense in the way the other books go. Of course, I couldn't help of thinking like, who is this, or which reincarnation is this? And I have some ideas about that. So we are going to follow, because we meet a lot of people, we are going to follow Alisa, who is a commoner, someone from the people, and she's studying in a collegium, which is a school. And this is new. This is part of the developed Deverry, that there are schools and that they are they learn history, they learn languages, and some people, especially men, are formed to become bards. And she is the only woman that has been formed to become a bard. And we will also be following, and it's a complex name, Doviana, I want to say. I can find it on the back. Doviana. And she is the daughter of a lord of the Gebretten. I really think the words are difficult to pronounce. And she's also studying, and she's friends with Alisa. And they both are involved in a strive to get a new justice system. So not basically new, and one that is already being used in some other parts of Deverry, because the actual one leaves law a little bit to the opinion of the ones who speak law. So the priests of Bel, who technically guard the laws, have all these laws learned by heart, and they are not written down, so they are easily to corrupt. They like to get land or offerings, and so ones who's rich can, by offerings, convince them that the law will be exactly stating that they are right. This is of course not going to go easy, and one of the bards will start a hunger strike, dies, which leads to quite some rebellion in the city. In all this, get caught up in Silver Dagger, which is basically someone who has lost his honor and has been banned and lives as a mercenary. When the son of another lord dies in this riot, people like to put all the blame on this Silver Dagger. This is Katharine. And together with Alisa, Katharine sets out to the island of Hanuman, I think you pronounce it, which is an island that has a lot of storyline in the fourth Deverry arc. It's an island that mostly holds healers, but also keeps a lot of old books. And they set out to go get a very old book written by Nevin, which is one of the main characters of the 15 other books, about this law that basically the other justice system is older and has more right to be. They set off, and of course we get a love story between both of them, which is quite strange. So in the other books of this series there is some love stories going on, but they are not as developed as this one. So I'm happy that I picked this one for the romantasy-athon, even if it's more fantasy with a romance than a romantasy. This still counts. And on her side, Diana will have to return to her dad, with who she highly disagrees about this whole matter, because he wants her to get married. So arranged marriage is very common for nobility people in this world. And she has no other option than to go meet this young man, Merrick, and they get along very well because basically Merrick is on the same side as Diana. And of course we will follow their love story along. And at some point both will join together in the same city, where they are going to plead for their wish to change the justice system, and a lot of political unfair things will happen, and in the end they will get what they want. So we clearly feel that even if this part of the story is done, that this is only a book 1, and I really hope that there will be a book 2. So what I have learned and found on internet, which is not much, is that there should have been 3 of them released 1 year apart. And then I found on Katharine Kerr's social media that she will not publish the 2 other books in this trilogy. And then on another website I found that the second book should come out in 2025. So we'll see, because if it comes out, it will be one that I'll get and that I'll read as soon as possible. So I really, really enjoyed this series. This is a series that not many people talk about, and I would like to use this vlog to tell you, if you like fantasy, if you like high fantasy, please go check this series out, because it is great. And also I have read 15 books in Dutch, and this one I have read in English, and now I want to read all 15 prior in English, because the English writing style was really fun to read. It is like in a middle-aged world, and it is nice middle-aged English, and at some points it was even very funny, something that there was less in the other one. So I don't know if it's because of the new arc, or is it something that's going on in the books. But so now I want to read those. So I'm gonna wrap up this vlog here, and I will continue working to finish up my journal spreads. I hope that if you participate in romantasy-athon that you had a great time, and I hope that if you did not, you also had fantastic good reads. Let me know in the comments, what did you read? Did you participate? What did you get if you participated as lore? All I have left to do is paste in the images for the prompts. I went to the ball wearing a black dress. I was a vampire, and my date was a dark knight. My weapon was an enchanted sword, and our love trope was faded love. The bonus prompts made that I was on the balcony watching out for my mysterious partner. We had to get away by fighting our way out through the kitchen door, since the ball got attacked. See you soon!